to do is immediately jump into the Next Generation School project. And basically what I like to do is tell you what the basic premise is in your own state and try to tell you other things that are going on in other states. I've actually physically been in 27 different states now. I go out of state once a month, and I have 41 states of regulations, their actual outcomes, and their performance-based systems. And I can tell you, if the outcomes and the statements are not nearly exactly alike, they are so similar that you would think they were all sitting around the table taking the same notes. Okay, what we are talking about again are national goals, national testing, national curriculum, national teacher certification, and a national data bank to monitor all of the above. So the whole idea is alignment. And remember, in order to have a comparable and compatible system, you must have alignment. In order to have total quality management for the future workforce of the global society, you have to control individuals in the system. What was needed was an outcome-based education system so that the state would be able to mandate down to Johnny in the system. So before you had your local districts who were making the decisions about curriculum, you had the teacher in the classroom that said, these are my standards. In order for a child to get an A, this is what they would have to do. And there would be a list of things so basically before it was local control. In an outcome-based system, the state controls the graduation requirement. So the state is saying, Johnny, you have to meet these learning outcomes or you are not going to graduate. And if we give the state assessment and all the kids in your class do not meet the outcomes or the school district, then we can fire the school board for not meeting those goals that the state has set. So where does the issue fit there? Local control. Well, do we have local control or don't we have local control? Can we opt out of an outcome? Can an individual child opt out of an outcome? These are questions that have to be posed as your issue. So, the first thing that we're going to do is talk about the fact sheet in the Next Generation School project. First of all, it's action-oriented. Oh boy, it's going to be howdy-doody time again. It's basically you have to realize all the different people who are involved in the system because you have key people. Remember that the Chamber of Commerce is deeply involved with the Economic Development Corporations in forming the nonprofit corporation to set up your statewide telecommunication system. Because in order to create quote-unquote human capital, which is always referred to in the books when we referred from the Department of Labor called the SCANS, the different SCANS booklets, the Secretary's Commission on Achieving Necessary Skills, the key concept is human capital, creating the workforce of tomorrow. The Next Generation School project, you have to meet the national education goals. Well, gee, isn't that a new concept? We have to have a clean slate approach. Anything that has happened traditionally before must be changed. So we're not talking about traditional, we're talking about the paradigm. We have to use the technology, and we have to employ a cradle-to-grave philosophy with applications for the entire community. What does that mean? Does that sound like womb to tomb? No, it's cradle to grave. Is that the same thing? Gee, I don't know. We have comparability. Womb to tomb, cradle to grave. Well, there's a little bit of difference. If it's in the womb, it's really not in the cradle yet. Okay, the whole idea is the entire community. Remember what Mark Tucker said. We have got to break the system root and branch, but we must change the entire community, change the culture, change the society, the attitudes and values of what you believe in. These are basically some of your 9 project criteria in the state, coming from the state down. We have to establish a community collaborative. Is anyone in here an attorney? Does anyone know what the legal definition is of a partnership? A partnership is a legal term that means equal jurisdiction, joint ownership. When your community decides to go into partnership with business and all the different services, community services within your community, by forming a partnership and agreeing to it in your strategic plan in each local district, by law, through representational authority of your school board, they have just given up your rights as an individual parent. Understand what a collaborative or a partnership is by legal terms. That means you are one person in a team. And if there is ever a vote, you have one vote out of 4 or 5. So if there comes to be a meeting of what must be done in an individual educational plan or service plan for your child, not to meet the state, not to meet the child's potential, but to meet the state outcomes, if you disagree, you have one vote. That's legally what a partnership is. What will happen as we merge all these community collaboratives? The first step, you must agree to the partnership. And the first step that I tell parents to do, if you haven't agreed to the partnership, be sure that everyone on your school board understands what a partnership is and what they are giving away. The second is, if they have already accepted the partnership and it's in the strategic plan, it's already in writing and has been submitted, then you as an individual parent must submit an individual letter saying that you disagree with the partnership concept and that you will retain the sole responsibility of your child in writing. And that will give you a legal basis for anything that would happen from there. And what I will tell you is to protect your children first. Understand how important it is to do that. Emphasize world-class performance. Is it world